Hi there, I'm Surang, your science teacher. Today's lesson is digestive system. First we are going to talk about the general idea of the digestive system. Before learning about digestive system, human digestive system, first we are going to talk about general shape of the digestive system, the general plan. This is general plan of vertebrate digestive system. When we learn about the general plan of vertebrate digestive system, it would be very easy for us to think about human digestive system. It starts with mouth, that is buccal cavity we call it, and it has salivary glands, and then this is what we call esophagus. After esophagus you find stomach. You have learned all these things in grade 7, as you know, and then liver and gallbladder, and then small intestine. And when small intestine starts, you find pancreas, and at the end of the small intestine you find cecum, and it goes to large intestine, and large intestine finally ends with anus. That is the general plan. We are going to learn about one by one a little bit. Before that, one very important thing is, in the process of digestion, there are 5 steps. First one is ingestion. Ingestion is basically, as you know, eating. Eating is taking food into your body, ingestion. Animals do that. Animals are said to be having holozoic nutrition, satta sadrisha poshane, satun penna poshane. So holozoic nutrition. In holozoic nutrition, you find ingestion, that is eating and taking food into your body, and then digestion. Digestion is breaking food into smaller parts, chemically and physically, so that you can absorb it, and then absorption. So after digestion, what is to be done is absorption, and then absorbing food into the body, and then you find assimilation. Assimilation is once food is absorbed, they become different materials. Now, for example, when cows eat grass, but their bodies are mainly made up of protein and basically of muscles, that is mainly protein and lipids even. So then the materials in grass undergo changes, and then finally it becomes muscles and assimilation, making new materials, and finally undigested materials should be eliminated from the digestive system. We are going to talk about different parts of it. First one, buccal cavity. Buccal cavity is the first part of your digestive system. This is, I'm talking about general plan, not human thing. This is of vertebrate plan. It is common from fish to mammals. Entry for food. You take food into your mouth, that is mouth cavity. We call it buccal cavity, and it has 2 jaws basically. Some animals, the way that they move jaws are different, and in buccal cavity, you know that physical digestion and chemical digestion, that is mechanical digestion and chemical digestion go. Shall we see? In upper and lower jaws, teeth to grasp, tear or chew food, you know all these things. Tongue may help to catch or manipulate food inside the buccal cavity. Tongue takes food from this part to that part, so that it is easy for the mouth to break it down in a way. And then thereafter it comes salivary glands. Salivary glands are glands that secrete saliva. The saliva has enzymes, one particular enzyme basically, and it digests food. That is, chemical digestion starts here. Secretes saliva, lubricates food. When the food is lubricated, you can handle food inside your buccal cavity, and food can be taken to this teeth and to that part, and so on. So, and also the tongue helps swallowing food. Commences digestion of starch. Yeah, that is chemical digestion. Yeah, we are learning all these things in detail, but general idea. So buccal cavity, and then in the buccal cavity you find salivary glands, and then you find esophagus. Esophagus is a tube. Pharynx. Pharynx is not mentioned here. This part is called pharynx. We have learnt about pharynx in grade 7. So you know what pharynx is. From pharynx, the second part is actually pharynx generally. So this is pharynx. From pharynx to this is stomach. From pharynx to stomach, the tube goes, that is esophagus. You know that tube. Generally in human being, 25 centimeters basically. Esophagus, tube that transports food from mouth to stomach by peristalsis. You know what peristalsis is? Peristalsis is a the way that it moves inside esophagus, the pushing, way of pushing using circular and longitudinal muscles. We are learning all these things. So the next part is esophagus. So then we have to come to this part, that is stomach. Stomach is actually a sac, and it stores food and also it digests food in a way. So protein digestion starts in human being, that is it. A large pouch for food storage after a meal. When you have a meal, you have to store food temporarily. The reason is actually the process is going inside your alimentary canal, your food canal. So we must allow the process to go. So therefore, once when food goes into the stomach, it does not goes to the next part, that is small intestine. So instead it is stored there, and when it is stored, digestive juices get mixed with food and it is again digested. Yeah. So when you think about stomach, a large pouch for food storage after meal. Yeah. And then glands secrete enzymes and hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid basically HCl. You know that it is acidic after a meal. At times when we vomit, we feel that it is acidic. That is due to hydrochloric acid, and the hydrochloric acid activates enzymes. Digestion of protein begins. Yeah, it is the stomach. The protein digestion starts there. So here in buccal cavity, carbohydrate digestion starts, and then here in the stomach protein digestion starts here. Digestion of protein begins. Multi-chambered in some herbivores and contains bacteria able to digest cellulose. In some organisms, for example cattle, sheep, I think, yeah, they are called ruminants. Their stomach is completely different. It has a good number of chambers. They have bacteria in their stomach. The bacteria helps in digestion of cellulose. That's it. They don't have cellulase. They don't secrete cellulase. Cattle, the cows don't secrete cellulase, but cellulose is given by, enzymes needed for digesting cellulose is given by some bacteria. Yeah. Multi-chambered in some herbivores and contains bacteria able to digest cellulose. Really small amount of contents chyme at a time into the small intestine. So when we digest food, digest food in your buccal cavity, the form of food that goes into esophagus is called bolus. Food bowls actually, bolus. But here from the stomach, the food goes to small intestine is called chyme. That is the name given to that. That is stomach. So now you know buccal cavity, mouth, and then pharynx, and then esophagus, and then stomach. And also the pharynx does not have a sort of digestive function. That must have been the reason why it is not mentioned here. Next thing, and the liver. Liver is something extra, the glandular part, the big organ, and gallbladder is associated with liver for some reason. We are learning all these things later. Largest gland in the body, it is glandular in the way it secretes a lot of things, and it is the most active organ in the body. Basically, the body temperature, that is, body temperature is due to the heat produced by the body. Mainly the heat is produced in the liver. Largest gland in body, produce bile. Largest mean, when you think about the surface area, the largest organ is skin, but on the other hand, the massive organ is liver. Produces bile, yellow greenish fluid containing bile salts, and secretes into small intestine. When you think about small intestine, the bile is a greenish fluid produced in liver, breaking down hemoglobin and so on. We are learning all these things. And the bile, greenish yellow, bile is the reason, bile is a component in feces making it yellowish. Small intestine. So bile comes to small intestine. Bile when produced in liver, it is stored in gallbladder. Bile is produced in liver and it is stored in gallbladder, and whenever we need it, so bile comes to the digestive system, to the food canal. So bile salts emulsify fats, that is, break them into small droplets, and so facilitate digestion. Digestion is facilitated, digestion is supported by bile, because bile helps in breaking down fat, that is lipid, into tiny parts, so that it increases the surface area of lipids. So it is very easy for lipase enzyme lipase to act on it. Other important functions include store glucose as glycogen. Glucose is stored in the form of glycogen and provides body as required. Food is, that is, carbohydrate is stored in liver in the form of glycogen and also in muscles basically, but liver has a lot of glycogen, good amount of glycogen. And metabolism of waste nitrogen products. Actually, when protein is broken down, wasted protein is broken down, the nitrogen is taken out and nitrogen is used to form ammonia. Ammonia finally becomes urea in the liver, and it is urea goes to the kidney, and from the kidney it is eliminated in the form of urine. So nitrogen metabolism, it goes in liver and waste nitrogen products. Metabolizes poisons, detoxification. When you have toxic substance, when you eat toxic substance unknowingly, it goes to the liver and there it is detoxified. Then comes pancreas here. Pancreas is really important thing, because now so far carbohydrate digestion started in the buccal cavity, mouth, and then protein digestion starts in stomach. I didn't mention it. Protein digestion starts in stomach. And then but it is not completed, so we have to go further. So further enzymes are secreted by pancreas. Why is it important? It is important because it gives you three types of enzymes, that is protease digesting protein, carbohydrates digesting carbohydrates, and lipase digesting lipids. So lipase, carbohydrates and protease, this one. That's it. Large pancreas, large digestive gland connected to small intestine by a duct, secretes pancreatic juice that contains many enzymes. These enzymes act on starches, that is carbohydrates, proteins and fats, lipids. So therefore it is really important. But the way that the pancreas connected to the digestive connected to the food canal is not the way that we have shown here, but you can see that in human digestive system, the diagram of human digestive system, that is pancreas. And then we go to small intestine. After pancreas you come to small intestine, that is actually after stomach, then it opens to small intestine. It is to the small intestine, pancreas and liver and gallbladder opens. Liver does not open, liver produces bile. Bile is stored in gallbladder, and from the gallbladder it is added to small intestine. And then that's okay. And then small intestine. This is small intestine is very long part. In herbivores this is really long, and carnivores this is not that long. Small intestine. It is the small intestine completes food digestion. After that, food is not no food digestion occurs in the large intestine. In the small intestine, food digestion completes, and also absorption of digested food is completed here. After this point, no digestion of food, no absorption of digested food, that is large intestine. So long slender coil tube, principal region for digestion of food. Mainly the digestion mostly occurs here, and receives many enzymes from the pancreas. So it has many juices, but I mean the small intestine, but yet for all it does not have digestive enzymes. There is one particular enzyme, but it is not digesting food here. It is actually activating one enzyme. So otherwise intestinal juice contains no enzyme, but your textbook says intestinal juice contains enzymes. From that enzyme, digestion goes with the enzymes. That's wrong. However, say long slender coil tube, principal region for digestion of food, receives many enzymes from the pancreas, receives bile from the liver and the gallbladder. One very important thing is, in the stomach, due to hydrochloric acid, it is acidic. So the enzymes working here should be going in acidic medium. So therefore enzymes going here work in acidic medium, that is low pH. But here after that the bile is basically an alkaline solution, bile. So bile makes it alkaline, this part alkaline, food and everything here it is made alkaline, and then enzymes here act in alkaline medium, that is high pH medium. High pH means a higher pH than 7. Then small intestine. Then we come to cecum. Cecum, we call it undukaya, one part. It is not prominent in human being, but in some animals it is really prominent. Some animals are called ruminants. Romanteo කියලා අපි කියනවා මේ අර හරක් වගේ කට්ටිය. They are digesting cellulose. So for digesting cellulose, they have bacteria in their stomach. So they support digesting cellulose. That is ruminants. There are mammals, non-ruminants. For example, rabbit, horse, non-ruminant mammals. They digest cellulose, but their bacteria is in this particular thing called cecum. So in these animals the cecum is really large, but in human being it has no big value. Varies in size depending on diet of vertebrate. varies in size depending on diet of vertebrate. Relatively large invertebrates that rely on hindgut fermentation of cellulose by bacteria. Yeah, so bacteria for digesting cellulose. So for those animals, this is really important. Contains some lymphoid tissues, but otherwise little function. When it comes to human being, function is really little. Yeah. Large intestine comprises, you know what large intestine, you must have an idea because we have done it in grade 7 to some extent. You know that there is a part called large intestine. Comprises colon and rectum. Colon and rectum. Rectum is Gudamargya. Colon, main part of large intestine. Rectum stores feces. Colon absorbs water from contents of canal, contents of canal. Yeah, when food passing through, not food actually, now digested things when passing through this, it the water content is mainly absorbed by large intestine. That is why it becomes semi-solid, form of semi-solid. Undigested. Yeah. Colon absorbs water from contents and of canal. Undigested and indigestible material moves into the rectum. So to the rectum, the last part of large intestine, the colon and rectum. Rectum stores for some time until you have time to remove that material. Moves into the rectum. Undigested and indigestible material moves into the rectum as a semi-solid called feces. Feces adjusted through the anus. Yeah, adjusted through the anus. That's it. So this is general idea of digestive system. So then you know that it starts from the mouth, that is the buccal cavity, and then pharynx, and then esophagus, and then stomach. Then we talk about liver and gallbladder, and also pancreas, thereafter small intestine and large intestine, that is including rectum, and that's it. So this would make us easier to learn the next part in the class. Okay, bye.